tires on, and yeah, we will do that because this is a road course. Of course, you don't do it on the ovals, but we will run in the rain and had a little bit of precipitation in practice earlier in an hour session. As you see, Mason Phillippe with a little bit of an issue. Grant Infinger had a problem as well, a transmission. You can hear it. Never a good sign, Phil Parsons, when this is what you get.
Not a long bench to read it here, grabbed third here, but this one he grabbed second. Nothing happened. Something broke. It was actually the output shaft and the transmission that broke. They said that very unusual for that to happen, but that will put them to changing the transmission.
Chandler Smith doing a little bit of yard work as well. Got it spun around going the right direction. No significant damage. Stuart Friesen off course as well. Everybody just trying to find the limits in this morning practice session.
And guys, this is when it was dry. It was a little damp early, but this was a dry, pretty hard contact. Really the only truck we saw get into the wall.
That's Stephen Malazzi, and I like this right here. Yep,
okay.
Everything's good. Don't sweat it. Yeah, we're not. But we're getting a little bit wet because we got the rain gear, so bring out the umbrella and the ponchos, and you see there is certainly precipitation in the area.
And Hocevar, his teammate for the weekend, came over and said, what do I need to know about racing here in the West? So they've been debriefing for the last couple of minutes, Justin. I loved one of the headlines this week. It said, you can't take the driver out of the team owner. It's your first NASCAR national event start since 2018. What are you hoping to gain from this weekend?
Well, I think it's about having fun. I think it's about, thanking these Nice guys and Worldwide Express and everybody that supports it, for giving me the opportunity. So yeah, it's been a while, and I only got about 5 laps in practice, so I've got a lot of work to do on me, and then this session will be kind of throwaway with the rain because we're gonna have a dry race. So I'll just go out there and try to have some fun, and it's, if anything, it's nice to be able to talk to Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez as a driver, because just to know what they're up against and kind of what they're feeling, it's good to get in the car and feel that for myself.
When Carson came over here for the paint, the line, obviously it's different with the wet racetrack. What other tips did you give him about this session?
I think racing in the rain or driving in the rain is a philosophy more than it is any kind of particular nuance about a particular track. It's just about understanding where grip is when it gets wet, understanding some of the things that you have to do to make sure that you're eliminating some risk, but you're also finding speed. So I was just talking to him a little bit about that, just that, things are a lot different when the track is wet. You find speed in a lot of different ways. You have to be smart. It's like I've won races in the rain before, just running like 90%, you know what I mean, just because the line is so fine. So anything I can do to help him, he's an amazing talent, will help the team, and he's not the first one I've talked to this weekend, so it's nice to come to the racetrack and be somebody that people are seeking advice from.
I know of a company. You have to see them on my truck every day.
Matt the Benedetto.
See, what an organic plug that was, huh, Josh?
And just get a little bit more weird because the fronts aren't going to be able to take that much brake pressure.
I think this has to be a record for the number of trucks that have spawned in one lap here that were not involved in the same accident.
Chase Purdy can't figure out which way he wants, which direction he's going to go, but especially if you have no experience driving on a wet course, this is certainly an incredible challenge. As you see John Hunter Nemechek around as well. Wow.
Got some on board from the 23 to see this.
Grant Infinger on board here with Grant.
Nice 360. Well executed.
Yeah, good. Stick it in first. Get back to it.
At least the second, if not the third spin for Chandler Smith. And we joke, but Andy, on this one, how hard this is with these guys. Now, we just came off they practiced this morning. It was a little damp.
Mid-Ohio, the track's starting to wear out some.
So these guys are used to a dry racetrack, and then they put them under these conditions.
And the other thing that almost every driver is going to do is they're going to draw from their past memories of driving in the rain. One of their last times driving in the wet was at COTA, which is a lot more grip, and you'll almost run the dry line in some of those areas there where you'll switch back. We saw the race last year between Gilliland and Gralla that they were both switching up lines. You've got one line here, and it better not be the dry line because you are going to be slipping and sliding.
Might be interesting for the finish. We're far off, or it might be a close finish.
To be putting power down in third, fourth gear if you're on the dry line.
A lot of these guys with manufacturer support will have been in the simulator, and everything they learned in this simulator, they're just going to throw that out No. I think it's, has he made a lap yet? Okay, I think that's our last count. 4 spins, and now he was just coming around back to the start.
And we can kind of see why. He's right on the dry line right there. We've got to, so I'll try to talk through this if we stay with the 18 years. We come into turn 1, he wants to be off that dry line and way outside here, and then pause on throttle as he's going back across the dry line, and then find his way up the middle of the straightaway, or at least 1 car width off the dry line here. And that's what a lot of these guys are struggling with. Coda, you could drive on the dry line and have it be okay. Here, it's absolutely treacherous. It will be seconds slower on your lap time, and most likely, as we're seeing, we're getting guys spinning around and either sticking in a gravel trap, filling up a grill with grass, or just quitting altogether and rolling
to the hill spins. And Andy was talking about where he doesn't need to be, and it looks like he was exactly what you just said, Andy. You gotta stay away from the red and white curve. I was going to say, and it looked like Grant was doing a better job until that happened.
Now, there's a tricky part about every red line here. You're going to cross the dry line once on entry and once on exit. So you've got to make sure you're on that line for the least amount of time. What we saw was the 23 there, as it came through 8 and 9, it was on its approach, and he got on the brakes on the dry line. And as soon as he got on the brakes, those rears just shut down and sent him around. So he's on the dry line here. He goes to brakes on the dry, still on a little bit of paint, and the back's just not happening. You've got to be at least a car width to the right as we come through there. He did a good job through 4, 5, 6. Was very patient, and then got back to the dry line here, and it just wasn't happening. It's a tough deal. We've got more footage here from the 18. On the dry line on entry, and same thing.
Explain what you mean by that dry line, because the entire course is wet. So
right,
how do
okay.
you,
Sorry.
What do you mean by the dry line?
So to explain this in detail, every truck, once we go dry here tomorrow when we see the race, and what we saw in practice, is there's a specific line. Just like you would see on a short track, like if you're at Martinsville or something, nobody's really going to move their lines around too much. Everybody's at the apex, outside again at the exit.
Red flag, 3 minutes, 50
here,
seconds.
So the dry line was dry.
Yes. For the car down, a car width at
First time I've
least
seen one in.
off of that, and when I say off of that, if it's a right-hand turn, you're going to, and the trucks are normally set up all the way on the left.
It could be driving a
5, 6, 7
Honda.
feet to the right, almost breaking down the middle, and then you've got to be very gentle and
Honda pulling out a Toyota. I thought I'll never see the day.
As you roll across the line that those trucks have been driving on all day, and you find the cushion, you literally go from big slip and monster push in the car, in the truck, to sliding across that and then finding a ton of grip.
They're gonna pull it
Hooking up
out.
on the outside, getting some power, some rotation, and starting to pick that speed up. And then you've got to be aware again on the exit as you're just at the point where your brain.
Can't believe they thought that Honda truck would pull it out. They had to go to the record.
If you miss
I get it this time.
and you hit that paint,
Even though
you
it's a
hit that
Duke Ford,
grass,
it's going to pull it out
you're in
because
the
it's on
You're
pavement.
in the wall.
No
Whatever
offense, Ford
damage you
guys.
have in your races.
This is completely opposite of what they're going to deal with tomorrow. So this does them no good, really, in preparation for the race tomorrow, because the forecast.
All it's doing is the standings. And then where you start at.
To set that the top 10 for the race tomorrow, but that's the biggest change that's happened down here, Vince.
Every little trick, you learn those things over the course of time. And
We know Andy ran the Xfinity race. There's a little bit of grass there from 88. This is how it got there. Just overcooked it.
Craft.
At least he drove straight through the gravel trap, which kept that truck going, and you see the grass on it. But
Part A qualifying session complete.
he's looking to make his season debut. Of course, has run many truck series
Parker
races in
Kligerman.
the past, but none this season.
Coming toward the front.
Been very impressive.
Way to go, Parker Kligerman.
Throughout the course of his career, we've given the opportunity.
And the number 72 truck, or 73 truck.
Coming out here in these wet conditions and sticking this truck in the top 5 in his first group.
I was going to say, I was very impressed with what he's done in his last lap. He just went from a 2:03 outside of the top 5 to stick it 2 minute, almost 2 minute .9 here.